Evan Williams Single Barrel Bourbon. Maybe I'll have like one drink beforehand while I'm prepping, or like I'll have a beer or something. But I never have 4 whiskeys before I do my review. Not until today. So, Evan Williams comes from the Heaven Hill Distillery. Heaven Hill also makes Elijah Craig, Larceny. They make McKenna. Also, any of their Heaven Hill bottlings, anything you see Heaven Hill is obviously going to be Heaven Hill, but it's a little confusing because it's surprising to see that a company that will make, I believe it's like an under $10 fifth of vodka, they make some really, really good whiskeys at the end of the day. And this bottle actually comes with an age statement, which is really cool. This is handwritten on the back, barreled on 124 of 12. Barrel number 1152 comes from one cask. They put it in one cask, let it age for, and this is 8.5 years, bottled on 7/10 of 20. So barreled January of 2012 and bottled on July of 2020. So that was actually just this year. This is the 2012 edition. They've been making this for a few years, but it's actually, it seems like in the books it's been pretty highly regarded. I picked this up on a whim. When I saw what it was, I saw it said single barrel, saw it was just over 43%. I said, let's go ahead and give this guy a shot. And the mash bill makeup on this, which is the grain components makeup, is 78% corn, which is going to be a little bit sweeter, more robust flavors. You've got rye, which is going to be dry or spicier notes. That's 10% rye. And then you have 12% barley, which is generally going to have more cereal, more smoky, more nutty notes, but really more subtle notes when it comes to barley, in my opinion. And this bottle has 0% wheat content. And it's actually kind of odd because it's more rare that somebody uses a wheat content in their mash bill, but some of the most dominant and popular and expensive bottles have wheat in it, and it's not necessarily that wheat's more expensive to use. I'm not sure because the Pappy Van Winkle has wheat in it. Weller, most of the Weller bottlings have wheat. Maker's Mark has wheat. A lot of the Heaven Hill bottlings, which a lot of them are, not a lot, but a number of them I know are looked up to, they have wheat content in them. Let's get into the color on this. And this is my 3rd recording today of this video. Something's going on with my camera, and I'm actually going to go check it right now. Earlier I was pouring 2 glasses, doing the review, and I was showing what it tasted like with and without water, but it's to the point where I've got to get this video recorded. I've got to get this done. I can't just keep drinking all my whiskey down. How am I supposed to do a review when I'm drinking 5 glasses of whiskey? Here we go, the color. So kind of like a copper, orange, like a burnt gold color is what I'm seeing here. This is a barrel char number 3. Barrel char number 3 is about 35 seconds of the barrel being exposed to flame and charring it. Everybody uses a little bit different number, but number 3 is pretty typical for a lot of bourbons anyways, or a mixture of 3s and 4s, or like somewhere in between that. The nose neat. It's got this burnt cereal oaky note to it. It is corn driven for sure. 78% corn. I can smell it. There's this heavily dried prune note to it. Like really, really sun-dried, heavily sun-dried fruit, like raisin or like grapes and prunes. Not a heavily, so when I say sweet, because you might think tart sweetness like a raspberry, we're talking this like almost caramelized sweetness to it. There's this cinnamon, almost black pepper taste to it. It's really quite spicy. There is an oak component to it, But man, it is hiding back there behind this grabby, bitey spiciness and this little bit of an alcoholic nip that you're getting here. It's almost like this grassy taste, this like fresh cut grass that's been raked up and sat in this pile in the sun, and then when you smell it when it's warm and it's still damp, that herbal flavor, like that herbal scent almost, not like a mint, not like a thyme, not a rosemary, but we're talking like grass and seaweed. All right, let's go ahead and add a little bit of water to this. I'm so happy that I'm doing this review. I was pretty frustrated because I didn't think I was going to be able to get this review done because I've already had 4 glasses of whiskey. And I said, how am I supposed to do this review? They weren't big glasses of whiskey. I mean, they were poured like this basically. But normally when I'm doing my reviews, I like to be this like, boom, let's get this, like, we're going to be super to the point on this. But you know what? The world doesn't always work out the way we want it to, and we have to keep going. So nothing's stopping me, folks. We're going to keep on chugging here. So the nose with some water is so much more oak forward. It is like these little caramel candies, like the little caramels that you get, like the little square or rectangular caramels that you'll get. I think it's like caramel, but it's like the chintziest caramel you can get your hands on. But that's the scent I'm getting, not like rich caramel, like the best caramel that you've ever used to make a caramel apple. We're just talking like a sweetened caramel candy. And the reason earlier I had 2 glasses sitting here, and I want to smell it. But just in case this video isn't recording, I'm going to check it again. I'm saving this because if this doesn't record again, I can't. That's going to be the last of my whiskey here. So I'm going to have to be able to use this just in case something fails here. The reason that I was pouring 2 glasses, I was adding water to one and not to the other. And the thing is, I've noticed the nose and the taste between the two are so much different, but I like the nose of the whiskey that doesn't get water added, and then I enjoy the taste with water. So I prefer the nose without water, but with water, the taste is just so much more mellow. Let me get into the taste on this because I haven't talked about that yet. Just like the nose, the flavor with water is so much more oak forward. I have lost almost all of the deep caramelized sweetness. However, the spicy, bitter nippiness that I was getting prior without water is gone, which makes this whiskey taste so much more palatable. I am all for an aggressive whiskey. The whiskey without water is really good for those thinking times by yourself, or maybe where you're doing something that you can really sip on that whiskey and just, you're doing your thing. But if you are trying to visit with people, you're eating a dinner maybe, because there's times you're going to drink whiskey and eat a steak. If you're eating and drinking it, if you're eating and drinking this, or visiting with people, having a little bit of water to this makes it so much just like, it's a luxurious feeling whiskey. It's a better experience without thought. It's hard to explain this, but it's such a different whiskey too. I want you guys to try this. Guys and girls, try this, where you take 3 different glasses, pour them, and maybe not this much, you don't need to have as much whiskey as I poured earlier, but take 3 different glasses, do one without, do one with 2 drops, do one with 4 or 5 drops, and see how it tastes, see which one you prefer the most, and see, do you like the nose on one better, do you like the taste on one better? And what I was doing earlier, I'm so mad that it's gone. I hope I can add it. I hope it's not gone. I was showing I was smelling one and drinking the other, and it was science at its greatest. The finish with this whiskey is definitely medium to long. When you don't have water added to this, the finish is this spicy, bitter, biting, grabby, charriness that is a little bit off-putting. But with water, it's this elegant, that's the word I'm looking for. It's elegant. It's this, that's what a good bourbon should taste like. But unfortunately, it loses a little bit of its nose, and it reminds me of, like, you know, a Bullet whiskey. I'm telling you, smell it without the water, and drink it with a little water. Have the two glasses next to each other, and then you can keep going back. As far as a script score, I'm going to give this 88 out of 100. Will I ever focus on American whiskey more? I highly doubt it. I mean, I will play around with it. The world may change, and I might change my song and dance. If Scotch whiskey isn't sold here, you better believe I'm going to be trying to find a place that makes whiskey that recreates the same thing within America. And if they don't, I'm going to do it. Thank you everybody for joining me today. And if you enjoyed this video, you know the gig. Make sure you subscribe, share it with your friends on social media. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment if you have something, anything you want to say about Scotch whiskey or any whiskey in general. Make sure you don't miss next week's episode. We are going to be back to Scotland with single malt whiskey. It is from the Speyside region. It is a sherry bomb. But again, thanks for joining me. Take care of yourself. Don't drink too much of this. If your camera messes up, be glad you poured small glasses. I could have waited for another day to record, but you know what they say? The show must go on. I generally don't do this, folks. Maybe I'll have like one drink beforehand while I'm prepping, or like I'll have a beer or something. It's American whiskey anyway. But still, nevertheless, it does have some nice oily legs going on here.